Alright, these are slope notes. This is a review from freshman year. Slope is the vertical change over the horizontal change, and it's represented by the letter M. So when you have an equation y equals mx plus b, that's the equation of a line, m is your slope. Okay, it's the vertical change over the horizontal change, and that's why it's called rise over run. Okay, slope represents the rate of change and should be written as a fraction. Oh, I can't fit that in there. Should be written as a fraction, and it should be in simplest form. It's in the second blank. Okay, that means to try to reduce. Anytime if it divides evenly, you should do that. If it reduces, you should do that. Okay? And then the most basic way to find slope is to just count it off of a graph. If you have a graph and you can count it off the graph, that's the easiest way to go. So looking at this line here, okay, if you start at your leftmost point, which is right here, you can count up for your rise, 1, 2, 3. And over 1, 2. Okay, that's positive because you went up. Okay, and that doesn't reduce, so that would leave you as a slope of 3 over 2. Okay, this line down here, again, if you start at the leftmost point and count up, so we can count up 1, 2, so it's up 2 and over 1, 2, 3, 4. So that would be 2 over 4. Now this does reduce. Okay, I can take a 2 out of both of these. Okay, 2 divided by 2 is 1. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So that does reduce. Okay, to 1/2. And if you count 1/2 off of here, okay, if I go up 1 over 2, I do land on the line. Up 1 over 2, again, I land on the line. So the reduced slope does work. Okay, and then this line over here, starting on the left, which is this point up here, count down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Down 6. Since it's down, you're going to put a negative, and then over 1, 2. Okay, this one also reduces. You can divide it evenly. -6 divided by 2 is -3. Or you can reduce. They both reduce by 2. And that would be -3 over 1, which is the same. Okay, but you want to try to reduce if you can. All right. So since slope is rise over run, the vertical over the horizontal, your slope formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, so subtract the y's and those go on top, subtract your x's and those go on bottom. Rise over run. The y's go up and down, the x's go left and right, so rise over run. Okay. Alright, so find the slope between the 2 points down here. Find the slope between the 2 points. This is using the slope formula. So I would take your points in this first example, 3, -2, and 4, 4, and I would label them x1, y1, x2, y2. So we have x1, y1, x2, y2. And then plug them into the formula. So the formula says y2, so that would be 4, minus y1, that would be -2, over x2, well that would be 4, minus x1, that would be 3. Okay? 2 negatives make a positive there in the numerator, so this is really 4 plus 2, which is 6. And then 4 minus 3 is 1 in the denominator. So your slope is up 6 over 1, and that can be divided to just be a 6. Okay. In your second example, we have 6, 0, and -8, -1. Okay, again, I would label them xy, x1, y1, x2, y2. Alright, so y2 would be -1 minus y1 is 0 over x2, which is -8, minus x1, which is 6. So in the numerator, -1 minus 0 is -1. In the denominator, -8 minus 6 is -14. Okay, the only thing that reduces here is my two negatives. A negative divided by a negative is a positive, so this should be positive 1 over positive 14. That means go up 1 and to the right 14. Okay, and that would be your slope, 1 over 14. Okay, going back up here, we don't have an example like this, but it says the slope of a line can be determined from a table, and we did this freshman year by counting units on a coordinate plane or by subtracting the coordinates. When you're using a table, so this is counting. I can't write small enough to fit in that blank. And this other blank is subtracting. When you use a table, you're looking for an adding or subtracting pattern for linear. If it's exponential, then remember you do a multiply or divide pattern. But if you're using a table, then if you don't have the graph, then of course you can put the points into the slope formula and figure it out, or you can just find the pattern in the y's over the pattern in the x's, and they should both be adding or subtracting patterns, would give you your slope. Okay. Alright, down at the bottom right corner of your notes, it says to plot a line that starts at the origin and has a slope of -3. So the origin is 0, 0 in the middle. Okay, if we want a slope of -3, that would really be -3 over 1. Rise over run. So we would rise -3, that would be down, 1, 2, 3, and run 1 to the right. Okay, and they said to label this line, line A. Okay, then below it, that little box says to plot a line that starts at 0, 4 and has a slope of -3 over 4 and label it B. So 0, 4 would be left and right 0, so stay here at the origin, up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This would be the point 0, 4. From there, it says it has a slope of -3 over 4. So that would be rise over run. Rise -3, 1, 2, 3, run 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so this line, they said to label B, line B. Okay, so if you're given a point and the slope, then you can graph a line easily. Okay, both of these lines gave you the y-intercept. Okay, the y-intercept in line A, the blue line, is 0. That's where it touches the y-axis, is here at 0. The y-intercept of line B, the red line, is 4, and that's the point they gave you, 0, 4. Okay, and then your slope. Alright, on the bottom left of your worksheet, it says the slope of a horizontal line is 0. A horizontal line is 0. The slope of a vertical line is undefined. Or sometimes you'll hear us say no slope. No slope and 0 slope are not the same. And it's easy to remember if you put it in the calculator. This horizontal slope, when you calculate your slope, will be 0 over a number. So let's say, for example, that it's 0 over 1. If you put that in the calculator will tell you it's 0. If you're looking at a vertical line, you'll end up with the number on top and 0 on the bottom. So for example, if we put 1 over 0, your calculator will tell you it's an error. Well, if it's an error, that means it's undefined, it doesn't work. Okay, so that's an easy way to tell. But horizontal lines have 0 slope, vertical lines have undefined or no slope. Remember that up and right are positive movements, and down and left are negative movements. Okay, so you got to make sure you have your signs right on your slope. Alright, on the back, skipping to the bottom, it says sketch a sample or a few of each type of slope. Add a skier if you want. It may help you remember the direction and whether the values are increasing or decreasing. So positive slope, positive means that you're going up and right, because you're going positive and positive. Positive slope means you're going up and right, which means your line should always be slanted up from left to right. Okay, those are all positive slopes, up and over, up and to the right. A negative slope means that you are going down and right. Down is negative, right is positive. A negative divided by a positive is a negative. Okay, or you could be going up and then left. Up is positive, left is negative. A positive divided by a negative is still a negative. So whether you're going down and right or up and left, your line is still going from left to right, it's still going down. Okay, both of these lines are negative. Okay. Zero slope, which we just talked about. Zero slope is a horizontal line. So zero slope will always be flat. It's not going up, it's not going down, it's flat, so it's 0. It's not going anywhere. This is always horizontal. Undefined slope, again, we just talked about that. That will always be a vertical line. Will always be a vertical line.